All right, guys, welcome back to the hangar. Been a minute. Had to head to New York for the weekend, so wasn't able to get anything done until yesterday. So picked up on the wiring because that's kind of where I'm at. Is the worst part is getting everything installed, making leads, mounting receivers, and then finding out where you're going to mount your batteries, and it just takes a little bit. So here's what I got going on. Pretty much got all the gear stuff hooked up. Just hooked up the last light lead, and it's connected. You've got a gear, it says gear switch, and then a throttle, or not a throttle, but a gear and on and off essentially. So that way you can, turn them off if you need to. That being said, it still keeps power to this controller. So if you leave your battery plugged in for a long time, it's going to drain it. The gear controller supposedly cuts off, which I don't know why they don't freaking do that to their light controller, because that's so annoying. So I'm always having to unplug the lights. But what I did is I made a lead XT60s. So XT60 coming out into this one, and then 2 wires coming out of this one. And this will go, once I'm done with it, we'll plug into my board, and then the battery, obviously. So I'm waiting to hear back to see if the gear controller has a low voltage fail-safe. So if it hits a certain voltage, it'll put the gear down for you. If that is the case, I'm going to run one single 50C 2200 milliamp pack, because the gear and the brake use very little voltage, or very little battery. It's the lights that will do the bulk of the drain. But that being said, there's a top and bottom beacon, wingtip, and one on the nose. So that's not a lot of LEDs. So I'm hoping that I can get away with just one of these. But if not, then I will just double it up like I did on the A7. So I've got A7 here, and I could probably run, nope. Anyways, sorry, I digress. Forget what I'm saying with that. But I've got 2 of these in the A7. And now that I think about it, I actually have one battery running the gear and the lights, and then I also have a battery for the turbine, and then 1 and 2 for the power system. So I kind of answered my own question there, but if it needed more, I essentially got these guys 2 into 1. It just doubles the milliamp, keeps the same voltage. So yeah, I don't even know why. Yeah, so that's a no-brainer. I just thought about that. So yeah, definitely going to be using one of these. And then I got a turbine battery, way more juice than I need. I don't like charging, so that's why I've got big batteries like these 5200 milliamps for the power system. I can fly all week. And this is the same for this. And then what I'll probably do is just have one battery, and then when this one gets a little low, I'll just pop this one in, because that way I use all my batteries. So, but that's about it. So yeah, tank's in, hard mounted the hub for the turbine, leads in. This is hardwire. You switch to this solid wire versus the flimsy stuff. But I did make a different, it was also a solid wire for the battery, but I made my own. I just went up to a higher gauge, and I got to put the end on it. So I got the battery, the ECU or motor lead, the pump's mounted right there. So the only thing I'll have to run next tomorrow is a throttle lead and telemetry. I got 2 leads to make there, and then the rest of the leads are all hooked up. I've already played with the rudders a little bit. I got to power it up and check the, because I got to move this in. I don't want it power up and these kind of come down and bind. So I got to test the wings, and that's about it, the aileron and flaps. So kind of getting down to the wire. I've got till this weekend to get this thing finished. I got to start packing this weekend for the event next week. Georgia Jets. But I'm getting there. I'll finish the wiring tomorrow. It's going to be a pain in the butt to cut the board and get those XT 60 mounts in there, because these will be on the top of the board. You just plug the battery right in the top. But what I'll essentially do is I'll get everything in there, get it all together, and put all this stuff in there, and then put it on the CG machine and move the batteries around to get a CG, and that'll kind of give me my starting point. And that way I'll do all this. I'll put these in there too for the weight, because they're kind of heavy. If I don't use these, I might use these like I did in all my other ones, like in the SU. But they're not too bad. It's a sport jet. It's got a big ass motor in it, so the weight should be okay. But then that's it. It'll be final, button the hatches down, you know, get everything hard mounted. Oh, I do have the receivers in. I got 2 receivers also, but they're just kind of sitting plugged in the power system. These will actually be plugged into the Cortex gyro, which is what I'm going to mount. Like once the board's in, I'm going to have the Cortex on top. That way you can see it. Plus, this is kind of flimsy on being the bottom of the jet, and I don't want it to vibrate from wind or stuff. So this is kind of more rigid, definitely. There's going to be no flexing on that thing, because it's a very beefy, stiff carbon, you know, carbon laminated tray. So plus it's nice to be able to see, you know, to make sure your gyros action properly and not in the wrong mode or something crazy before you go fly. So, but that's it. Kind of getting there. Been a good build so far. Obviously got the new tank. I didn't put this in because there's no need. This is for the smoke, or if you want to do like an extra fuel, you can. So I just left that. It's extra weight, didn't need it. I put a different vent on top here, which I've already kind of covered. Got the UAT hooked up, so I can't really disconnect. So just kind of hanging out of the side there. This is the dry lock fill, which I glued in some holders. It'll come up this way, boom, come around here, and it'll sit right here. So when I need to fill the tank, I'll pop it off, plug into it, and then just stick it right back there out of the way. But that is it for this. I do want to mention I have decided to go ahead and sell my F-14 Tomcat. And I don't have it out to show, but if you've been in events, you've seen it. It's kind of a one of a kind. And so if you're interested, let me know, because I can sell it with a radio ready to fly, or I can take the radio out of it, and maybe like if you're like a Spectrum or Jetty, I can take the radio receiver and the gyro stuff. I'd kind of like to keep the gyro, so that'll obviously lower the price, but I'll sell it all if you kind of hit the price. So if you're kind of interested, let me know. It's, like I said, it's a one of a kind. It's got some upgrades to it on the gear, and it's got about maybe 24 flights on it. Because I don't fly it that often, because I just can't, because it's a bigger jet, and our field doesn't kind of really support it. So I'm really only fly it at events, and I mean, I might have 24 on it, if that, which is crazy. I've got extra tires. It's got 2 Jetmonts 166 TSs in it, which are the twin igniters, great motors. Hell, I even got a spare 166 TS that I've been trying to sell, that if you want a spare engine, kind of like what I would do if I had one go bad or something, or I need to service one, I could pop that one in and send the other one to the factory. So all kinds of options to deal with. So if you're interested, hit me up. Like I said, I'll be at Georgia Jets next week. It'll be in the trailer. You can see it and that kind of thing. But there's also videos online. I have videos. I think I've posted on my Facebook and my YouTube channel of it flying. Plus, it's been in some magazines. So you guys have a good one. I'm going to go chill out. It's been a long day. I'm tired. And I'll go sit in the office and stare at the ceiling, since all the government guys won't be in office tomorrow. Cheers. You guys have a good one.